All right, this is our GMC Sierra tweet of the night. It comes from Benjamin Solak, who says both the Bears and the Steelers won without scoring an offensive touchdown. First time that's happened in Week 1 since 2006. Yeah, kind of a weird day. Offenses struggle, and when you don't play a lot of guys in the preseason, you would expect that defenses have more of an upper edge, and you saw that today. If you wanted offense, however, you had to look at Dallas. They came up with a nice offensive performance. Dak Prescott got his new deal, a lot of money. He's now the new highest paid guy, on average $60 million a year. But another guy who deserves some mention here, and this is the problem with Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski back in the day wanted to keep Baker Mayfield. It was Jimmy Haslam, their owner, who didn't want to do it necessarily, went out and signed Deshaun Watson, even after all his stuff that he had done, and gave him all this guaranteed money, and they're on the hook for it. Watson today, 2 interceptions, a 51 passer rating. In the first half was 0 for 7 when blitzed, was 0 for 7 in the middle of the field. Just an awful day. And Baker Mayfield on the other end for Tampa Bay, 24-30, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 146 passer rating. Thing about that is they gave him over $100 million. He deserves it based on what he's done in Tampa, but they should have stuck with him instead. That's going to hurt them, and everything they gave up as part of that trade for a long time to come, which I'm sure those of you who are Pittsburgh Steelers fans love to hear, because the Browns seem to be struggling. The Bengals got off to a slow start, and the Ravens played well, but they lost in their opener. So the Steelers sit atop this division heading to Denver. The question is, who do you start next week? My bet would be it's going to be Russell Wilson, if he's healthy and ready to do it. What do you say at 412-575-2600? Let's get to Jerry in Pittsburgh, who's our first caller tonight. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
Hey, Bob. That's a great-looking tie, by the way.
Thank you.
And my heart, weeps for the Browns.
Okay.
Anyway, the punter thing, name I think we should keep in mind. First of all, I hope they move on from Presley Harvin and don't even call him. But name that I thought might be of interest would be, and looking at between him and Brad Wing and Corliss Williams is the guy that I think they should look into.
I mean, there are guys out there, no question. I don't think they'll go to Harvin. I mentioned his name only because he was recently cut by San Francisco, and he has ties to Pittsburgh, of course. But they got away from him because they didn't like him in big situations, shanking punts and, not flipping the field when he had a chance to do so. Cameron Johnson was doing that in the preseason, had a good year last year. That's why they wanted him here, and that's terrible to watch near the end of that game. But there are other guys out there for sure. And, they had a chance to get the guy in Kansas City who was, facing all those charges, and then all of them were dropped, and now he's there. He's one of the best kickers in the game. He was with Buffalo before this all happened. Whatever you got to do, you got to find somebody, and I'm sure they will. There are guys out there. Brad Wing also has ties to Pittsburgh, so maybe that's a possibility if he's still available. I have not checked that, but they'll come up with somebody. They're going to need it pretty quickly as well at 412-575-2600. I want to give another shout-out, too, to Joey Porter Jr. because he was assigned to Drake London today. You really didn't hear much of his day. He only had 2 catches on the day. That was it. He and Kyle Pitts combined for 5. And if Kirk Cousins doesn't get those guys employed in the pass game, they're going to have some problems. That's why they brought Cousins in the first place. Let's go out to Bob in Murraysville. Bob joins us right here at the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Go. Hey, Bob.
How you doing, Bob? How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Real good. I think that it seems to be a recurring problem or an issue here just in the first game. I hope it doesn't become an issue. I hope it's something we can get resolved. But the blocking, the receivers, it's just, you watch some of these. I was watching the game tonight. You see Nakua, you see Cups. Guys are hitting people. Do our receivers do they not know who Hines Ward was? Come on.
Well, I mean, they're not necessarily. No one's going to be Hines Ward. What I will tell you is that 4th and 1 play that they went for and did not make. A lot of people thought it should have been an automatic field goal attempt. 4th and 1 was set up by the fact that on the previous play, both of the guys out there trying to block, George Pickens and I believe it was Calvin Austin, both missed their blocks. And so Jefferson was stopped short, forcing a 4th and 1. So if they make those plays, he gets the necessary yardage. And those are things that surely will be brought up by coaches in their meetings this week. You got to make those plays. You can't let someone beat you in there. Tom in Verona joins us right now. He's on KDKA+. What's up, Tom? How are you?
Hey, Bob. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
I just wanted to make a comment about the 4th down play.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Tomlin went for that, being that, defense don't turn over the ball. There's two reasons why I didn't like it. Field goal puts you up 8.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is, they didn't look like they were all on the same page, like when you call timeout, or it just looked like they weren't on the same page.
Well, first of all, on that play, if you do kick the field goal, and thanks for the call, Mike, you're up by 8. You can't lose no matter what happens. They go down and score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, you still are tied. So that makes sense prudently to do it. But if you're in that position, knowing how your defense was playing, I'm sure Tomlin figured at that point, hey, I have 4th and 1. We got a guy who's very active. Now, the play call itself, was maybe something. It looked like it was going to be a quarterback sneak, and it didn't work. I would have spread people out and done it a little differently if that were the case. But they went for it, they didn't get it, but the defense immediately got it right back for them. So no harm, no foul. But, if Atlanta had gotten on a drive and had a chance to tie the game, I think that would have been even hotly contested, even more so than what we are doing right now. Let's go to Bob in Brackenridge, who's on the line. Hello, Bob. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Bob. It seems like between yourself and me, there's 4 or 5 Bobs, so maybe it's
Bob's a good name.
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I just, I just don't understand the debate with Russell Wilson. He's been there, done that, but guess what? When you are from the last 2 years of Ben up through the present, when you have Justin Fields in the game, the safeties in the corners better respect the deep ball. They also better be able to respect the 30, 40-yard sideline pass. They also can't come in and hunt the run because the tight ends and the shifty receivers over the middle. And more importantly, it opens the running lanes for Najee and for Warren, because on top of that, he's also a threat to run. To me, you let this young kid grow. You let his weapons and his athletic ability grow. And if you let him keep playing with the skill set that he has, he's going to get way better every week. And more importantly, Russell Wilson, here comes the jet sweeps, here comes the 5-yard pass, here comes the defensive backs standing at 10 yards and tackling everything in front of him because they don't respect his big arm or his athletic ability. It's just, I don't think.
Well, he still has a pretty good deep ball, Bob. I'm not going to dispute that. I think he's one of those guys who can get it down there. The problem is, he's been a good check down kind of guy. And today we saw that as part of the game plan. I really believe the coaches stressed that. If you look at the pass chart of Justin Fields, you'll see nothing in the middle of the field. This is the same thing we've seen over the past couple of years, replacing Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of safety plays, low risk plays. A lot of them are check downs. Some of them are thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Whatever the case may be, at some point you got to get beyond that, because against elite teams, when you play powerhouse offenses, you're going to have problems. You're going to have to match points with them. And they still have different gears to get to. This was just week 1. They had a problem with Wilson and his calf. So Fields get in, and he has a reputation for losing the ball, throwing interceptions, fumbles. And there were a couple of today, first play of the game was a quarterback center exchange problem. And then later he got sacked, ill-advised sack, but the ball almost came out, which would have been devastating. So I think they wanted to make sure that was going to be a point of emphasis. Don't turn it over, win that battle, and they do. When they do, the Steelers are impressive, 29-7-1 since 2020 when they win the turnover battle. When they lose it, on the other hand, they're 0-15-1. So that's a problem, certainly. Let's go out to Shirley, who joins us right now in Wilkinsburg. Hey, Shirley, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Oh, well, it seems like we have this quarterback problem a lot. Didn't we have this same problem last year?
Yeah, it was kind of a conservative game plan, and nobody was stretching the field or using the middle of the field, Shirley. And, those are areas you got to do. If you watch some of the better teams, slant patterns across the middle, using guys with yak yards, yards after catch. Calvin Austin's a guy who's equipped to do that. So I hope they expand their playbook more. And I think today was just, again, a conservative plan, knowing that they went to a place that they had a quarterback who, and Kirk Cousins, they knew they can get to because he hasn't played. He's had surgery. He's not going to move a lot. And they teed off on him when they could and made things available in the secondary. We need to take a break. Bud, hang on. We'll try to get to you next. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Hey, remember, we do it 7 nights a week right here on KDKA+.